Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, insists on cash withdrawal limits, while House of Representatives demand suspension. NNPC Limited to fund road projects with additional 1 trillion naira. Oil bounces near December 2021 lows after Keystone Pipeline shutdown. Hello, I am Benny Adams, welcoming you to this edition of Business Express. It is coming to you on a network service of the NTA. We start by telling you that the Central Bank of Nigeria has been given the go-ahead to faithfully implement the new Naira note policy as planned without fear or favor. President Muhammadu Buhari, who gave this assurance while granting audience to the governor of the nation's apex bank in Dara, also asked him not to bother about public criticisms. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the details.
The redesigned 200, 500 and 1,000 Naira notes denomination were formally unveiled by President Muhammadu Buhari on the 23rd of last month. At the event, the president declared that the need to take control of the nation's currency in circulation and address the hoarding of the Naira bank notes outside the banking system was urgent. But how far so far? This was why the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, came calling at the Daura residence of President Muhammadu Buhari.
I'm visiting Daura to assure the president that things are going on well about the currency, as well as issues bordering on the cashless policy that we recently introduced.
So how did the president respond to your presentation?
Very, very happy, and he says we should carry on our work. No need to fear, no need to bother about anybody.
Without doubt, some people are bothered, especially with the cashless policy, as the House of Representatives in particular made a strong case for the suspension of the cash withdrawal limit. Mr. Emefiele said the CBN is not unmindful of the concerns raised by the National Assembly and is prepared to respond appropriately. He, however, explained that adequate electronic channels have been put in place to aid the conduct of banking and financial service transactions by those in need across Nigeria seamlessly.
This is not targeted at anybody. It is just meant for the good and the development of the Nigerian economy. And we can only just continue to appeal to Nigerians to please see this policy the way we have presented it. We will be reviewing from time to time how this is working, because I cannot say that we are going to be rigid, but it is not to say that we will reverse. It is not to say that we will change timing, but whether it is about tweaking some amounts to be a little bit higher or a little bit lower and all the rest of them, we will do so, because we are humans. We want to make sure that we make life good for our people. So there's no need for anybody to worry. The central bank is monitoring what is happening, and I can assure everyone that we're alive to our responsibilities and will do what is right for Nigeria and Nigerians.
Mr. Emefiele emphasized that the prevailing situation in the country, where over 85% of the cash in circulation is outside the banking system, cannot be allowed to continue. Already, he explained, there are more than 1.4 million registered super agents across the country where people can conduct banking services.
Yesterday, the banks have received the new cash and they have started dispensing them. I can only just assure everyone that it will go around. The let us just become, put the painted an unpainted currency will operate concurrently as legal tender, but by January 31, the unpainted one will not be useful to you again. So please take it to your banks as quickly as possible.
So how much have you been able to get back into the banking system at the moment?
I mean, we at the central bank we have taken close to more than $500 billion, and with the banks we also have close to about $500 billion.
He said Nigeria, as the largest economy in Africa, need to leapfrog into the cashless economy. From Daura, Katsina State, Adamu Sambu.
Now, the need for members of the Bankers Committee to recognize the critical role of the financial system in accelerating the development of the productive base of the economy in order to contribute to national development and economic growth has again been emphasized. Central Bank Governor Godwin Emefiele re-echoed this stance at the 2022 Bankers Committee meeting in Lagos. Abolade Salami reports.
Recognizing the hindrances of high inflation and foreign exchange shortages on the achievement of national development, members of the Bankers Committee converged to map out strategies that will focus on the development of the local manufacturing industry and non-oil sectors, particularly on how to enhance the sector's capacity to generate foreign exchange inflows. Central Bank Governor Godwin Emefiele said the area of focus is more germane considering the enormity of the global economic turbulence with its attendant negative shocks that have continued to ravage many countries.
It is equally an occasion to re-examine our support to government programs to promote non-oil exports and to identify specific implementable actions by the financial system to enhance foreign exchange revenue.
As the headwinds of retarded growth momentum, worsened global conditions, as well as amplified risk and uncertainties, economic players say stakeholders must play productive parts to engender the necessary infrastructure and services that are critical to boost non-oil exports.
And so for us, I believe that we cannot immune ourselves, we cannot stand as if we don't know what is happening around the globe. But I think it's important that when conferences and retreats like this come together, that you look at where we can indeed tackle our own, local issues, but with a global view.
The 2022 Bankers Committee retreat has as its theme increasing the productive base of the Nigerian economy, focus on boosting non-oil export revenues.
The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has pledged to provide an additional 1 trillion naira for road projects across Nigeria under the federal government's Road Infrastructure and Refreshment Tax Credit Scheme. This was made known on Thursday by the Group Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of NNPC Limited, Mele Carey, during an inspection tour of the construction exercise ongoing at the Agbara Badagry Road project, which is part of the 21 critical federal roads of over 1,804.6 kilometers, which the state-owned oil company is funding. Kerry said that the 1 trillion would be reinvested in road projects through the federal government Road Infrastructure Tax Credit Scheme. Still talking about the oil companies, the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority has again assured that queues at filling stations will soon disappear as marketers commence massive loading of petroleum products. Chief Executive Officer Ahmad Farouk gave the assurance during a stock monitoring exercise within Lagos depots yesterday. Regardless of these assurances, petrol scarcity continues to linger across the country as long queues are seen at few filling stations still selling fuel. The NMDPRA bus led staff of the authority to NIPCO, Total, Conoil, among others, in Apapa for an on-the-spot assessment. Farouk said the stock-taking exercise was to ensure availability and effective distribution of petroleum products across the nation to reduce queues at filling stations. Meanwhile, the agency has promised that fuel will be available in the next 48 hours, that is from yesterday. Statistics indicate that women account for 41% ownership of macro businesses in Nigeria based on their strong entrepreneurial spirit. Such small and medium-scale enterprises owned by women are receiving training and practical business solutions at a workshop and exhibition for MSMEs organized by the Women Enterprise Alliance in Abuja. The workshop and exhibition was a platform for MSMEs to tell their entrepreneurial stories and collaborate with professionals and thought leaders through the MSME industry to foster innovation, creativity, and business growth.
For their documents like NAFDAC registration or even standardization like SON. So we have them here so that they can interact. So it's more or less like bringing the stakeholders close to the SMEs so that the SMEs will know what to do. Some people just think these things are difficult at times, but it's because they don't have the right information.
The price of locally produced rice has continued to increase in Nigeria despite the increase in volume of rice production in the country. In 2017, it cost 16,000 on the average to purchase 60 kg of locally produced rice due to multi-billion naira intervention by the Central Bank of Nigeria under its Uncle Borrower scheme. The price dropped to 13,000 in 2019, but rose to 17 in 2018. Afterwards, the price has continued to rise to 18,000, 20,000, and presently, a bag of locally produced rice is almost 40,000 naira. What is the way out? To discuss this issue is Shehu Muazu. He is the Executive Officer, Rice Association of Nigeria. You are welcome to Business Express.
Thank you for having me.
Well. You've had a geometric increase, the price in prices of rice. Prices of rice, rhyming scheme. Sir, what is responsible for this?
Thank you. Nigeria is not, we cannot treat Nigeria in isolation as far as prices of food is concerned today. I want to take this in two perspectives. The global perspective and then the local perspective here. On the global scene, you know, the COVID-19 has disrupted the logistics chain greatly. This has continued to affect the supply of food commodities and transportation services. Equally, countries now have capped their exports into the world market because of fear. The COVID-19 has heightened the fear of food insecurity among nations. So there is limited supply of food even at the global level. Locally, Nigeria, we have the problem of floods. We have the problem of increase in the cost of production. These are problems that will all combine to affect the price of the rice commodity.
But looking at it, yes, there's a global disruption. The COVID-19 complicated with the Russia-Ukraine war. But looking at local production of rice and all the investment the federal government has done through the Uncle Borrowers anchored by the CBN, a lot of farmers, particularly in your part of the country, were supported to produce this rice. We had display of all of these pyramids. Then we had more than ever processing plants around the country. The Abakaliki rice, you have the rice mills in Kano, a good number of them also in Abuja. Everybody thought this is going to breach this gap. Why are we still where we are, and what is that magic wand needed for us to get this commodity to our table at affordable prices?
The magic wand is the large-scale production of rice using mechanization. That is the magic wand. At present, the small scaleholder farmers in Nigeria have answered the call of the federal government through the CBN to produce rice, and they are producing rice. But the truth of the matter is, you and me knows, or every other person out there knows, that small scale production of rice to feed a population of 210 million cannot. It's just not possible. So the best thing for us is to bring in the private sector, who has the capital, who has the wherewithal to invest into large-scale production of rice, so that the prices of the rice will be so much in the market, and the prices will definitely come down.
Obeying the law of demand and supply. Well. In this case, where is a place of those investment? Who are those possible investors to come in? Is the environment not favorable for such investors? Then looking at the smallholder farmer, which you mentioned, the flooding affected the cost of production and as well as the production itself. Is that to say we are going to be expecting much more rise in prices of this commodity?
No, you see, the large-scale production of rice, I expect the Dangotes of our country. You see, look, feeding a country is a civic responsibility. Let us not look at it as a business. Look, if you have the money, come in and invest to feed your nation, securing your country food-wise is a basic responsibility, that if you have the means to do it, do it. You understand? It is just not going to be left to the government alone. We all should be involved, because an unsecured food country, a country that is not food secured, that's a country that is on the brink.
While we wait for this big-time investors to invest in this sector for us to have the required sufficiency, how can we manage the much more numbers of smallholder farmers coming in to participate to increase the production before these big-time farmers come in? What are those incentives needed? Yes, the CBN through the Uncle Borrowers is doing a lot, though we hear the CBN also complain that some of those monies are yet to be recovered. They were given based on loans. Yet for the farmers, again, you will get to hear flooding. How do we balance this to encourage more farmers to get into this production for us to have more of the commodity?
Honestly, for any program that's set to achieve food security for a country, it should not be an ad hoc program. It should be a project that goes into the future. We are just about 4 seasons as far as the commodity and commodity program is concerned. We are in 4 seasons into it: 2017, 18, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. These are the seasons that the Ankubura program has covered. So what I expect is a continuous funding of the program. The program set out to achieve 4 things. 1 is to commercialize agriculture. 2, to provide jobs for Nigerians. 3, to provide food for Nigerians. And then 4, for good agronomic practices. As far as Uncle Burua is concerned, has the Nigerian farmer been transformed from a subsistence rice farmer to a commercial rice farmer? Yes, he has. Has they been able to produce the food that was set to produce for that period they have produced? Yes, they have. Have they been doing? Have they benefited from good agronomic practices? Yes, they have. So loan repayment, yes, they have problem in repaying loan. Now, and just as you have said,
yes,
the floods, the droughts. Within these 4 seasons that I have told you, we have experienced 3 major disasters. The drought of 2018, the floods of 2018, the drought of 2020, and recently the drought of 2022. All these are factors that culminated to make it impossible for the farmer to just pay off his loan. Look, it's only here in Nigeria that we give out loans for you to go and produce, and you are expected to pay back within 6 months.
It shouldn't be possible.
So this is the problem.
It's tight, it's stringent.
It's too stringent. But we agree and we know, yes, they have done their best. But the thing is, this thing should be a continuous thing. We just can't wake up and say, the countries that have attained food sufficiency, they have not attained it in 6 months or 2 years. It's something they have done within the last 40 years. The Asians that we are seeing, that we are feeling they are food skilled now, it took them almost 30 to 35 years to be where they are today. So why can't we plan? Why can't we be living on ad hoc arrangements? We cannot.
Okay. With this challenge, it is obvious that the drought you talked about, the flood you talked about, and natural disasters that can't be controlled, that we experience them in this last 4 seasons, there is a possibility there might be a recurrence of this. In this situation, a lot of people are saying following the prices, some might not know the challenges, but following the prices they go to the market and find, they're saying, can't the government allow for importation now, since we are not self-sufficient enough to get to have this commodity in abundance for the prices to get to go down? What's your take on that?
Sorry, even at the international scene that we are going to import, the rice is not there for you to go and buy as you used to buy it before. I have told you earlier that the COVID-19 has heightened the fear of food insecurity among nations. So even those countries that export rice have now capped their export level to which they will export. And to be honest with you, even if we have to import rice, what is going to be the landing price of rice into Nigeria today? As at today, the price of parboiled rice ex-get meal price in Thailand is about $500 per ton. So out of the shipping cost, how much is the shipping cost of a ton to this place? How much is the levies that you are going to pay? How much are you going to pay transporting it from the port outside? It will reach that $1,000. And $1,000 per ton is more than the average price. It's more than the price we are buying it in Nigeria today. It's not going to be as easy as people used to. Look, the dynamics have changed. And let us face the reality. Let us look inwards and let us produce for ourselves. This is it.
Where is the place of inviting foreign investors to come and invest at home rather than going for importation?
That is an option, which I have said it several times, that the large scale, the big time farmers, the big time businessmen of Nigeria or foreign direct investors can come in. Look, it has been proven that the market is there in Nigeria. It has proven that the environment is conducive for production of rice in Nigeria. So what else do we need? This is a virgin land as far as foreign direct investment is concerned. It's virgin. And the market is so big. 220 million people. It's a big market.
That's massive. In your own words, being a rice farmer, being an executive member, being a stakeholder, what are you doing at your own end, and what do you think government can come in to do, including the private sector you mentioned, to ensure that, yes, it might not just be immediate, but some ameliorating measures to be taken so that we'll get to have more of this commodity in the market, so that the prices too will get to go down?
You see, what we should do first, me as a rice farmer, I know along the value chain of the 100% of the profit margin in the rice production value chain, only 15-20% of that profit comes to the primary producer. There are so many actors along the value chain. So all we need to do is, let us be patriotic. You understand? Let me correct myself. I've said it's a civic responsibility. No, it's a patriotic responsibility to feed, to contribute in the food security of your country. So all of us, the actors in this value chain, let us be patriotic and let us take small profit margins so that our own people, our country will be food secured, so that people will be able to eat and go home and sleep well instead of sleeping with a car.
Being patriotic rather than being profit-oriented is the way to go, according to Alhaji Shehu Muazu.
You see, let me tell you, the price of per ton ex-Milgate now, paddy, is 310,000 naira. But what is the price of milled rice per ton? If you take 40,000 naira, as you said, which means the price is 800,000 milled rice. So see the difference from 310 to 800,000. So something can be done there to change the dynamics. That's my belief.
Thank you so very much, Alhaji Shehu Muazu, Executive Officer, Rice Association of Nigeria. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us at this particular point.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Business Express continues after this break. Well, that wraps Business Express for the week. Remember to send in your comments, observations, and suggestions. Also be informed that all previous episodes are available on YouTube on the NTA's channel. You can also communicate with us via our various social media platforms. Business Express returns Monday at 3 p.m.